Hey everybody, now Colibri 8800. I usually don't, buy lighters like this, but I thought, hey, I'm just going to buy it. And I'm going to see if there's anything wrong with it. Well, there was. I've already repaired it. I'm going to go through with the process. Here was the problem. PZO was bad. I mean, in bad in a way that it wouldn't hit all the time. You could hear it click, then it would hear that, and it wouldn't. So it's a bad PZO. Alright. Well, anyway, just so you'll know, because I tried to unscrew those little screws right there. Well, if I'd had my glasses on, I'd have seen that those aren't actual screws. It's just, just for, I don't know. Anyway, and I thought, well, what in the world? Screws ain't coming out. I stripped, and then I found out all you had to do is just pop this top off right here like that. Okay, see the little pin in there? And it goes right in that hole right there. Just bear that in mind. The next step from this point is just to pry this plastic piece up that goes to the filler flame adjustment valve. You can see on the back side of this, there's a little tab right here, okay? And that coincides with your flame adjustment. So if you want, when you put this back together, set it to your highest flame and stick that back accordingly. Alright. Next step is your screws are actually right there. Alright. Actually, when you get this in your hand, you think, hey, that's a pretty solid lighter. That's what I thought when I got it. But I thought, I know that's, the tamper right here. This has got a tamper in it. It seats in there real good. I mean, it fits in there real nice. There, that whole unit comes right out just like that. Alright. Let's put it away on this other stuff back here. And from that point on, this case just slips right off. This is a heavy-duty case, folks. That's what makes it feel like it's really a high-quality lighter, because it's heavy. The reason I don't say, I'm still not saying it's not a decent lighter. It is a decent lighter for what it is. But, it's got a plastic tank. If you ever get a leak in a plastic tank, well, you're done. Okay. From this point, what we want to do, you can see that there's two pins right here. See those two pins? Notice there, this here is bigger rounder, so this is the head. So you just want to poke these two pins out from this direction. Now, when I struggled trying to get this thing apart, but your best bet is, now there goes the clock. It's just like that, okay? And that's how that mechanism is. How this works is when you put this back, this goes underneath. Your pin goes through here, so when you click down, it lifts the valve up and slaps down the PZO. That's how that works. Alright. Now, I just replaced the PZO. I had one. Make sure that you get that timed right. These PZOs, and if your PZO's good, you need to work on yours. There's a sweet spot on these PZOs. Just keep that in mind, all right? Now, I'll go ahead and take this apart. I won't probably, I might get it back in time, but let's just pull this hose off right here. Push this PZO out. Be careful not to burger up that little spring right there on the end of that burner valve. Piezo comes right out. It is amazing, folks, but I had one. It just okay. Now you can see this section right here. Bigger hole in this end right here. Okay. So what this does to get that off, you just slide that back and pull that off. There's a spring underneath there. Now let me tell you something, folks. You want to make sure that you get this on correctly, so pay attention to which side's up, because if you don't, you get it on wrong, you put it back together, and when you ignite your lighter, the flame stays on. Alright, rest assured, it's that little part on there. If you got it like this, it needs to be flipped over, okay? Because I experimented with this, and I did have that problem myself. Now, you'll have to get a tool to get this out, okay, to unscrew this. This in here you can just unscrew by hand. And what you're going to, rather than take this apart, I'm going to show you exactly what you're dealing with when you get that off. It's not going to be the exact same thing, but it's going to be, you're going to understand what I'm talking about here. Let me find them. I got some parts here that are similar. These are valves I took out of lighters I use for parts. This is basically what you're dealing with here, okay? What you got a filler valve, okay? And when you fill that up, butane comes through this hole right here into your tank, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can zoom up, put some light on it. You see that void in there? That's a sponge. I'm going to dig that out for you. And chances are that's what your problem is, because it was with when I had to replace it. These things are 99% of the time the problem with these older lighters, because these sponges just get pressed down and compressed up against the hole, and they just cause problems. Hold on a minute here. See what you got here. Alright, and what you want to do is from this point on, you'll pull that out, say, and hold it with a pair of tweezers. Okay, then you'll take some butane, and let me do it on this valve here. Well, hold on, that guy's going to have to move my camera. What you're doing is with these tweezers is holding that valve open, okay? And you'll want to get some butane, and you'll want to see how it's coming out the end there. Well, that's good. It's not plugged. And let me see if I can zoom up here and show you the hole here. See the hole in there? Alright. Now the reason these guys, they don't work always is you see this here, sponge is, let me show you. You see the indentation on the end of that? Well, it's basically plugging up the hole in here, okay? Over the years, it just, it just plugs up the hole. Now the best thing you're going to want to do, And I gotta move the camera here again. Now, best thing you're going to want to do is get some of these out of the disposable lighters. These got the holes in them, okay? Then you're going to want to get an appropriate punch to punch it down to size. All you got to do is measure the end to get the size that you need. You measure the end here. That says 2.29. I would use a 2mm leather hole punch. Okay. I'd use a 2mm leather hole punch and try to center that hole punch in the middle. In the middle of one of these. So that hole's in the center when you're done cutting it to size. Alright. Then when you get done, you're going to take your tools, which I got some here. Now listen, I got tools that I bought. Excuse me. The tool that I use, I bought off of to take that valve out on this, guys. Here's the tool that I use. This right here. Now, it just fits right in there. Now, this is pretty tight. You might put a pair of pliers on the end of this and twist that out. Okay. There's no ring on that. Change your O-ring and put a little O-ring grease around there. Then tighten it back down. If the O-ring looks good, when you take it out, just put some grease around there and sink it back down in. There's no ring on this. One or two, I can't remember. I think it's one. But anyway, now this here tool, if you're thinking, well, where do you get it? You can get it off eBay. Ronson valve tool. Just put it on eBay, type it in. Ronson lighter valve tool, or Ronson lighter valve lighter filler valve repaired valve plus tool, something like that. It'll pop up and you'll see it. The guy's out of the UK, but he's a fast shipper. And he's a real good guy. I've dealt with him multiples of times, and most every time I ordered from him, I'm talking like, man, it's there within a week. Okay, so anyway, so after you put that, replace that filter, get that screwed back down on in, and you get the part of the valve here, and you get it all screwed inside the tank and everything. Okay, and you're going to want to put everything back together. First thing is this spring. Don't lose that spring, folks. Alright, that's what keeps tension on this plate to keep it where it needs to be. Alright. Now from this side, put that on. I'm going to need my tweezers here. There you go, and push it over. There you go there, alright? And from this point, you can put this back on. Just like that. Now there's a little rubber piece in here. Could pop out on you. Base plate for this here, piezo. Stick that in there. Put your piezo back there where you think it, just take an eye, just keep an eye out on where that piezo wire was in relation to, how it sits in here. Alright. Now, let me see if this, That's pretty high, but it works. Okay. So when you get to this point here, you're ready to put everything back together. Now what I did is just put this on first, and I come in here and kind of put this on down here like this. Then got it over. And the first pin you want to put on is going to be this one right here. You can see through that one, because the other one, keep in mind that there's a ridge on these, head on them, so they go on to this side of lighter here. Okay, now this is going to, there we go. We got it about right there. Might have to work this a little bit more. There we go. Push these all the way down. Let's see what we got here. That's pretty high. Okay. So from this point on here, slip your case back over it. Put this down. Screws your screw down, or screw your screws down in. Don't snug them down because they're going real tight, guys. They're going into plastic just enough to keep slack out of that bottom plate. And once you get there, since that flame was high, when you turn counterclockwise on here, it turns the flame up. So I want to put the little tab on the end of this on the left-hand side there, so it won't turn up anymore. Okay. It won't turn up anymore, but it'll turn down because you already got it set on a pretty good high flame. You tuck that back on. Turn that down a little bit. There you go, guys. Really a pretty nice lighter. For what it is, guys, it ain't bad. Alright. You can get something like this for $20 or so and fix it yourself. You're not going wrong with it. You're really not. You get one like this one here. It's been worked on, and this will probably end up being on eBay for it's over with. Any of you guys out there like to have it, I'd sell it to a viewer if you want to send me an email at lighters2018. I'll sell it to you for $15 plus shipping. I think I got $10 in it, $5 just to do the work, which is pretty reasonable. And you got a decent pipe lighter. Alright, guys. That's it.